They said that we shall produce recommendations and legislation to significantly affect the short-term and long-term fiscal imbalance of the federal government, reducing the federal debt by at least $1.5 trillion. The critical words are at least 1.5 and significantly affect the long-term imbalance. The only way to meet that challenge is to achieve a larger agreement that grows our economy, puts America back to work, and addresses the deficit, sending the message loud and clear that Congress is serious and prepared at last to make the hard choices. In fact, the real mission of this committee comes from the American people, who wonder if we still can and desperately want us to sit down like adults and make the Congress work so that our economy can work again for the American people. So yes, we're here to examine the numbers, but frankly, we're also here to examine our consciences and look beyond narrow consideration of party or ideology to address the broader needs of our nation. Our national debt is $14.7 trillion, but we've also got a jobs deficit. 26 million Americans looking for work, and we can't fix our budget without fixing jobs, and we can't fix jobs without fixing our budget. We have to restore confidence, and we need to do it in a hurry. The world is watching, and our strength at home determines our strength in the world. Only a few days ago, Russian Prime Minister Putin said that in today's global economy, you only need to really deal with 5 countries, and America wasn't one of them. None of us were sent here to accept an economic future where the United States doesn't make the list, let alone top it. And here at home, Americans are watching. In less than 13 years, if we don't take significant steps, our government will only be able to fund Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and the interest on our national debt. Everything else would have to be deficit funded. By any measure, today's fiscal path is unsustainable. As we face this challenge, we need to remember that America does cherish a basic set of values. We believe in caring for the sick and bringing the elderly and disabled out of the shadows, and that every young person deserves opportunity and future. And we also believe that America must always prepare for that. As we engage in this effort, we cannot eat America's seed corn. We need to grow our economy. Some of us were here for Graham-Rudman-Hollings in the 1980s when we made tough decisions and committed ourselves to never increasing poverty or inequality as a sacrifice on the altar of deficit reduction. And in the 1990s, we saw how we balanced the budget in a balanced way. We can do it again. 3 bipartisan groups have spent thousands of hours working to find common ground. Rivlin Domenici, Simpson Bowles, and the so-called Gang of Six have all built a foundation. And we don't agree with every proposal, and neither do they. But they're roadmaps. We don't need to reinvent the wheel here, but we have to put our shoulder to the wheel and find the political willpower to get this done. None of us sitting here is so important or so permanent that we can ignore the demands of history or the demands of the moment. We have to find not just common ground, but higher ground. Some of the most fiercely independent, plain-talking, and determined partisans in American history have sat at the desks and tables and chambers that we will sit in, and they've tackled the toughest issues throughout our history. And they found common ground with people they disagreed with on near everything else. Now, it's our turn. I believe, I am convinced, there is a bipartisan consensus just waiting if the 12 of us are willing to sit down and forge it and make it real. That is our mission, and that is our charge, and I look forward to getting to work.
Thank you. The co-chair